Welcome to the Backpacking Blisters podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. With me today, co-host for this week, is Ben McAuliffe. He's a man who thinks the scariest trails on Earth are called psychopaths. Psychopaths. That's a fake laugh.
Wah, wah. I'm trying to be polite. That was all right. It's good. It hit the trail, the nail on the trailhead. With me today is a guy who closes the door right behind him because holding the door open for an elderly lady makes them lazy. Carl Mandrioli.
Wait, holding it doesn't even make any sense. Holding the door for an elderly lady makes them lazy. Makes the ladies lazy.
Yeah, because they, you do this all the time. You shut the door because you don't want the old lady to open the door for them because you're like, you're lazy. You can open the door for yourself.
That's not very nice, Ben. I'm nicer than that, but thank you. Thank you. All right.
Welcome.
So big shout out, big welcome to Enlightened Equipment, folks. If you found our show because you are a customer or you're part of the newsletter from Enlightened Equipment, we would like to warmly welcome you to the show. We are tagging ourselves as the Enlightened Equipment, a podcast. We have a new partnership with them. It's just like a friendly partnership where we just really like that company. And like personally, I like everybody that works at that company because everybody I've met that works there is just awesome. And I would love to go backpacking with each and every one of them. And then of course we love their gear as well. And so we're partnering with them and they've actually put our show on their website and in their newsletter. So who knows who's checking out the show, Ben? We got some new folks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love new people. Did you just invite everyone on their company to a backpacking trip? That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So,
that'd be
big
amazing.
trip in July.
We've hung out with them twice, like 2 years in a row at the After Retailer show. We've had their CEO Chris on, and we're just like, they're just cool people that just like people that you want to hang out with. They're from Minnesota. You're from Minnesota, so you get it, right?
Whereabouts in Minnesota are they from? They sound nice already.
I don't know. Like, aren't all the towns are the same?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
I don't know Minnesota.
Yes, Carl, every town is the same.
They're in the South, whatever that means.
Okay. Yeah. Rochester, Owatonna. Yeah. It's all the same according to you. What's some of the stuff that you like from them?
Oh yeah. I mean, they basically make the best quilts on the market. So if you're looking for ultralight gear, you're looking for premium ultralight stuff. I actually bought one of their quilts for my daughter when I think she was, I want to say 6 years old. That was like the first, I didn't even buy her a sleeping bag because she just like kicks the sleeping bag off. And so I bought her a quilt so that way she could actually carry her own, like piece of gear on the backpacking trip. Cause she had this like really small kids pack. And so that's a good question. Yeah. So that's kind of my,
that's awesome. It makes sense that a company from Minnesota would make the best quilts because it gets to 50 below down there.
Yeah. Made in the USA. So yeah, so we're going to be tagging them every time we do an episode because we love them. So thank you, Enlightened Equipment, for partnering with us. And we hope to honor you by putting out good quality podcasts with true content, not the nonsense that Ben's talking about with me making old ladies hold the doors for themselves. That's not very nice, Ben.
That's not Minnesota nice at all. So if you live in Minnesota, you hold the door open for people.
Okay.
And sometimes it's awkward. Sometimes you both want to hold the door. Yep. You hold the door open and both are like, I'm holding the door for you. I'm holding the door for you. So right. It's Minnesota nice.
Minnesota nice. Okay. Speaking of nice, we're doing the 6 deadliest trails on Earth in this episode. But the positive side is we're going to also talk about the cheat codes to defeat them. So how do you overcome these deadly trails if you like a challenge, if you take risks, or one of those kind of people that want to like find out what's the like sketchiest trail out there, like how do you defeat them? So how many did you come up with? How many of the deadliest trails do you have on your list?
I'll say I got 3.5. I threw one in there just for Enlightened Equipment that's in Minnesota that I've been on that I would say is probably one of the deadliest in Minnesota.
Okay, fair enough. 3.5, whatever that means. Yeah, I got 3 myself, and we'll talk about the kind of the criteria for what it means to like be a deadly trail. We have a family-friendly episode, so we're not going to get into anything gruesome or crazy here. It's just these are just trails that are like that you have to be concerned about, and safety is an issue. So. All right. Also on our podcast, we do a Bible verse of the episode. Ben, you've got this one. What you got?
I got Amos 3:3. Do two walk together unless they are agreed to do so?
Wait, is it that a question? Do two walk together?
Yeah, it actually is a question. It's part of 7 rhetorical questions that you answer when Amos is talking about it. But I would say that yes, two walk together when they agreed to do so. So I thought about that with our trip coming up, Carl. We agreed to walk together for the Trinity Alps. So I'm pretty excited for that. Or maybe we didn't ask, maybe we didn't agree, but we should agree to walk together. Or else it'll be awkward. You're in front, I'm in back. I don't know.
In our last episode, we talked about the worst backpacker of all time, and you talked specifically, like, your number one answer was somebody who like talks your ear off. So I don't know if I want to walk with you. Like, I don't want to feel like, Ben, am I talking too much, or are you getting annoyed with my questions?
Well, it's okay. I'm just gonna say, hey, team one, you can go ahead of everyone else because we all know you're team one by yourself. So
team one, we talked. Okay, so in our last episode, we talked about team one like leaving camp, like sooner rather than team two leaving later, and then Ben's part of team three. He's like still in his sleeping bag while everybody's packed up, right?
Because I want that hour alone in the morning. Yeah, I'll catch up to you guys.
That's right. Okay, interesting. All right, so Ben, what's your criteria for picking deadly trails? Like, how did you decide if a trail was considered deadly or dangerous or scary or whatever?
Well, I think the number one thing, Carl, is that there has to be a lot of deaths. So I found some that actually some trails, and I left them out. I left this one out, but there was one that actually was like, we stopped counting how many people died because it was so sad.
Wow.
So I left that one out because I couldn't even pronounce the name of it. So I left that one out. But
wait. Did you leave it out because of how sad it was, or because you couldn't pronounce the name?
Oh, because I couldn't pronounce the name. So I definitely we'll have to go back and leave that. Yeah. So you can Google it. Just type in, deadliest trail and see if you can pronounce it. If you can't, then that's the one I was going to choose. So, but yeah. So I left that, and then some are just plain just sketchy, with the trails. So we can go over them. What are your criteria?
Thank you for asking. I looked at multiple lists, and if I found trails that were on different lists and kind of had some agreements there. Like, I also looked at like, death rates for trails, which is really not a very positive thing to look at. It's kind of sad, but over like the long haul. And then also, what are the risks to the trail? Some of the trails kind of overstated the risk, and maybe even the one that I chose kind of overstated some of like the, they made it sound scarier than it actually is. But that was kind of my general criteria. And I was also really interested in like how many of the trails I've actually been on or done. So when you were looking at lists, had you been on any of the trails that you encountered?
I have not. I picked one just for you. You'll find that one, and then one I guess one I've actually been on. That's my half one, and the other ones just sounded interesting. Like they're just around. So we can definitely talk about them and see if you've been on them. And
there's trails around. They're just like they have interesting names. So
yeah, that I can pronounce, Carl. That I can pronounce.
You can pronounce. Okay. All right. So, what do you want to go first? Or you want to go first? What do you want?
I can go first. So my first one's Mount Rainier. There's a trail in Mount Rainier that I found very, very interesting. And according to this, it's America's deadliest hike is Mount Rainier in Washington State because of the unpredictable volcano that can erupt, hypothermia, broken bones, drowning, and heat stroke all come into this play. And I thought the volcano was probably the one that threw me off the most, and then drowning.
Wait, so risk of explosion, even though there hasn't been an eruption in forever, that was one of the issues?
Yeah, it was extreme and fast weather changes, avalanches, fallen rocks, and unpredictable volcano. And so that caught my eye, that you have to wait for a volcano. So I'm not sure how you would cheat a volcano other than just not go to it. But it definitely sounded interesting to pick Mount Rainier for one of the deadliest hikes.
Interesting.
Have you been there?
Have I scaled the top of Mount Rainier?
Well, not scale it because it's a volcano, so you don't want to get to the top and look down and there's lava. But have you been like around there hiking?
People, you don't know much about Mount Rainier. This is a very common mountain that like mountaineers actually scale. It's like a really big deal.
Right.
Yeah. So I've been to Washington. I've been like in the vicinity, but I haven't actually been. So Mount Rainier is also a national park where they have the trail that goes around Mount Rainier called the Wonderland Trail. And I haven't done that trail, although that is on my list. And I'm not a mountaineer, so I don't know if this qualifies. Like there's not a lot of just your everyday backpackers that are going to the top.
400 people have died at this Mount Rainier.
Okay.
So yeah.
I don't know. We can agree to this. Mountaineer, I don't know. I guess maybe.
Yeah, there's a trail. I mean, and that was tough. Is like, there's some that are just trails, that we could go with, and then some were back, like literally it was like you have to know how to rock climb this because you actually have to harness in on a plank and like walk alongside this. And to me that's not backpacking, but this one caught my eye more for the volcano side of it. So
okay,
I don't know.
All right,
future Patreon trip, we can go up there and have a Deadliest hike with the volcano. So.
Right. 99.9% of our audience is not a mountaineer, so I don't know that you're really like piquing the interest with that one, because that doesn't, it's not a backpacking trip. But you know what, that's okay. Your criteria sounds like it could be any kind of trip, so you probably have like a boating trip on there too. We'll find out.
You know what, why don't you just talk to cliffroselodge.com, because they named this as one of the deadliest hikes, the information I got, so it actually says a hike. So if you want to argue somebody,
you got me. Some random lodge deemed it a hike, so you got me. They know way more.
yeah.
You're so ridiculous.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how to respond to that. Okay. So I've got, so on my list, I'm going to go in like ascending order of interestingness, I guess, because like the ones that I find increasingly interesting. So I'll start with the one that I still think is interesting, but I don't even know how popular it is. It's called the West Coast Trail in Vancouver Island in British Columbia. Okay. And actually one of our Patreon folks lives on Vancouver Island. And because they filmed that show, or they have filmed that show alone there, I just thought that like it was some island that was uninhabited, but apparently it's not, or not even close to that. It's a pretty big island. And so they have a 48-mile long trail along the Pacific coast that they say boasts some of the most rugged terrain in the world. So because you're going like seaside portions into the mountains, but you have to like contend with like high tides that could leave you stranded, or like they say there could even be rogue waves that can sweep you out to sea on this backpacking trip. But they have woodland portions that have like narrow wooden ladders that cross deep chasms with rickety bridges, boardwalks. And then I think they're trying to make this trail sound scarier than it is, because it says that the trail is like crawling with wolves, mountain lions, and grizzly bears. It can also dump inches of rain on you in just a few hours. And they say that no hiker completes this trail without injuries. That sounds hard. Yeah. So,
so you're close. So you're close to the waves. You're obviously close to the beach, I guess, and the road waves. But yeah, no, that sounds interesting. But did you go over like how many people lose it, or is it just one of the deadliest trails or hikes because you're bound to like scrape your knee and they count that as a injury?
That's a fair question. So yeah, this is in Canada, so I don't know if Canada's keeping the same kind of stats that we are. They probably are. No, I actually don't have that stat for this one, and I should. So you're right. I failed right there, but I think it's the threat of death is why it made lists, not the actual deaths. The threat of death. So yeah, maybe it's not one of them. Maybe you found me out. Maybe that's a bad answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We'll have to go.
I'm not going to find out. I'm not doing this trail. I'm not doing this trail with you, man. Like if you're talking about, okay, guess what? If you make it to the end of this trail, guaranteed you're going to be injured by the end or like be marked up. I don't know that I like that.
But what's marked up? Is that a blister, or is that like your arms in a sling and you're not sure if you're going to make it till the end?
I don't know. It's probably more than a blister, but either way. Well, yeah, this actually 48 miles is like a very achievable trail. So maybe I would do that one. We'll talk about it later. Either way, maybe we'll test this one out and see really how deadly it is. And if either of us comes back dead, then we'll know for sure.
Cool. Let's do it.
Okay.
We'll do it as a challenge.
It sounded very enthusiastic. All right. What's your number 2?
Mine is going to be the Hardergrat Trail in Switzerland. I thought this was cool because it's in the Alps, but it's not an official trail. So it weaves across the mountain. Because it weaves. You're laughing at me. I can't even make it through. This is a serious podcast, Carl. We're talking about life and death here, and you're just laughing at me.
This trail is not even trail, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, so it's called the Hardergrat Trail, but then in Switzerland, they say it's not even an official trail. So people have fallen down. There have been deaths. It's pretty popular on social media, and that's why this article came out too. Is because everyone wants to come here because it's beautiful. It goes across the lake, but you're like scaling stuff and you're walking across like narrow edges. But yeah, it's not really a true trail. But a lot
Just
of
to
people just
clarify,
kind of
did you
want
just
to
say the
tough it
trail
out.
goes across the lake?
No, like yeah, around the lake, like across it, like
Around the lake.
next
Okay.
to it. Okay, yeah, around. There we go. Gosh.
Okay, just
Off
clarify.
to a blazing start. I know, now I'm all, yeah. So this is the one I thought was just beautiful, but people were like falling down. It takes 12 hours to complete the trail, minimal breaks, but everyone that like are on there is like, don't do it. It's hard, but it's beautiful, but it's not official trail. Weather plays into it, avalanches. 135 people have died in the Swiss Alps, just to let you know on this. So,
Okay.
3211 were rescued, but once again, it's hard to know because they have the average hiker going on these, so you have to be prepared. My way of getting past this is I think you could do this trail, just be prepared, get the right gear, don't
Right.
worry about pushing the red button. But it just
Oh
looked
my
really
gosh. Yeah, I'm
Swiss
missing it, man.
Alps.
Yeah, we got to go over the cheat codes to defeat these trails. So,
Yeah.
what was the? Yeah, let's cycle back real quick. What was your cheat code for
Okay.
defeating Mount Rainier? What's your secret there?
Yeah, so I'm not sure how you stop a volcano. Do you throw like Mentos in it and just have it erupt higher, and so the lava doesn't come crashing down on you and start running? Or what do you do? I mean, I don't know how to stop a volcano from erupting, Carl.
Okay, so you create a soda volcano with Mentos. So the thought is then if you throw Mentos into a real volcano, it'll probably stop it. That doesn't make any sense. That's ridiculous.
No, it will erupt it higher, so we can get out of the blast zone. And everyone knows that a volcano doesn't erupt 360 degrees. So you just have to pick the right angle that it's going to erupt on, and not be on that side.
Right.
So,
I'm not concerned
Team
about
Carl
that.
on one side. Yeah.
I'm concerned about like the rock falls. I'm concerned about the avalanches, all that stuff. To be honest, if I'm a newer mountaineer or whatever, I'm just like a backpacker who wants to get into mountaineering. I'm just taking a guide. I'm gonna hire a guide to go. That's my solution for that one. That's my cheat code.
A guide. But so I know you a couple of your other ones. I was going to ask that later on, but that's what I was talking about. Is what happens if you pick the wrong guide? Like, I'm guessing that you got good guides, and then you got the guide that probably is just like first time doing it, wants to make some money, and like, hey, I'll lead you. I mean, what if you show up on the trail and it's me, Carl? I'm your guide.
You're not a guide.
Hey there, how are you?
Oh my gosh, you're so ridiculous. I'm going. Okay, so we got to get back to our list here. So for that one, I'm gonna do guide. The cheat code for my West Coast Trail on Vancouver Island is I'm gonna I think that the two key things I'm concerned about, I think the most would be the tides. So I'm gonna have a tide chart with me so that I'm hiking at the appropriate time frame during the day, and I'm not gonna have like rogue waves, or I'm not gonna get stuck with tides. And the other issue I'm concerned with is like sudden and extreme rain. So I'm gonna be prepared to pitch my tent, and I'm gonna have waterproof stuff with me, like at a moment's notice. Just be ready for that at any point. That's my solution.
Just walking with your like umbrella and poncho and
maybe an umbrella. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
umbrella. Some people do that for sure.
And surfboard. You bring your surfboard, rogue wave. You just ride it out.
I don't want the rogue wave, man. Like I don't want the rogue wave. So not surfboard, and that's not a great backpacking item either. Not
they make them.
They do backpacking surfboards. All right, number two. My number two is this one's a really popular one that I think is on a lot of people's bucket list, which is hiking to Everest Base Camp. Ooh. Just the base camp. Not talking.
Is that on your bucket list?
Everest. It's not. I've been to Nepal and I'm good, man. I'm good. So
same thing. What you're talking earlier is you're kind of half hiking, half mountain climbing, right? Like you're getting your
not for base camp.
Not
base
for this. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Base camp's a hike.
So yeah,
this one, I mean, you're going up to you're pushing 18,000 feet elevation. So a lot of the issues are altitude sickness. 3 to 15 people die on this trail each year. It's an 8 to 14 day trek. So it's a longer hike overall to get kind of there and back again. So you're ascending kind of a lot of elevation in a relatively short amount of time. And even though you're not mountaineering, you're still in very tough conditions, and you're getting, above tree line, you're getting to the rocks and the snow and all that stuff. But some people handle the altitude and altitude sickness better than others, man. That's what it boils down to. A lot of times it's not even fitness. It's just like, how does your body handle the changes in altitude?
Because you have to take those days of rest, right? You get up so much, and then you kind of have to back down. You go up, and then you go back down. You go up, go back down so your body can acclimate to the altitude adjustment. I can't handle that. Like that just isn't fun for me. Like going up, going down, you're not making progress. And I'm not a big in and out type of backpacker. I like loops because you're going somewhere. It's like, I already saw this. Like we're going in, we go out. It's like, like why are we saying the same stuff? Let's do a loop. Come on.
Right. So, and just to clarify, do you think that Everest Base Camp is climbing Mount Everest? Because what you're describing is climbing Mount Everest, not Everest Base Camp.
18,000 elevation. You said 18,000 feet.
We're not going up. We're not going up the mountain and back down the mountain and then higher. That's climbing Mount Everest. We're going just to the base camp, man.
I'm at 1,600 feet right now. So 18,000 feet. I might have to go up and go back down at 5,000 feet. If I come out to visit you, Carl, I might have to go to halfway down the Rockies just to go up and hang out with you.
For the treks to base camp, I don't think they do that. I just think they progressively get to base camp. They don't hike up and back. But I agree with you. I don't like that and back stuff. And so that like I wouldn't like.
And what's the point? I mean, what's the point of going to base camp? Do a lot of people you think go to base camp and then don't go to Mount Everest? I mean, obviously,
well, first of all, the permits,
but isn't the goal to get up there or what?
So it's just the base camp. You're kind of a part of the experience. You can see the mountain. I think you can see the mountain from base camp. You can see all the climbers, like most of them not even qualified to climb. They just like are super rich and they're paying guides to do a lot of the stuff for them. And so you can just kind of like, be part of that community. You can, I don't know how else is like, what else is exciting about it? It's just like a far side of the world. It's pretty cool. But you're also still stinking high up there, man. Like 18,000 feet is higher than anything we have in the contiguous United States. So you're up there and you are experiencing a very remote part of the world where strangely there's a large community of random folks that are climbing the mountain. Why do you
maybe if you're, I think they're doing it for obviously for socialization. You're among some rich people, so you go up there to market. Maybe we'll go up there and interview some people and throw out our podcast for some more sponsorships and see what we land on with those rich people up there.
If you survive,
it's all about socialization.
If you survive, would you sponsor our podcast? Well, you can come on our podcast. You can share the story of how some Sherpa like short roped you and yanked you up to the top of the summit, and how you had to like step over dead bodies on your way up there and not help people that are suffering because you're risking your own life in doing so, which is like a terrible mountain to climb. So,
Everett Base Camp never appealed for me. Like doing Everest, like it just because it doesn't seem like you're truly hiking. It just kind of like you got all the Sherpas carrying your gear, helping you. I know it's a big feat, but to me, it's not like you're doing it by yourself going up there. You got a team that's going with you. So it just never really has appealed to me, but it is a true remarkable time and for people. So let's not knock that.
And that's part of my cheat code is like, you can hire a Sherpa to carry your gear. So you're under a lot lighter load. I would show up 2 days early and get like to the highest elevation point possible before I start there and just spend time just kind of hanging out, walking around to acclimatize. Even 2 days helps significantly. And then I would bring the best electrolytes and hydrate the heck out of myself the duration of the hike. I don't care if I have to stop every 20 minutes and go pee. Like that's what I'm going to do to succeed. That's my cheat code.
Yeah, that's what I heard is the dehydration is what really gets you that in the altitude. Like, you gotta hydrate. But that's bring back. What if you get the wrong Sherpa? You get the guy day one. It's his first time. He wants that Yelp review. And here it is.
Yelp review. Yep. And if you haven't met Ben before, Ben always has a positive spin on everything. But what if the guide like isn't like, he's like a fake guide, has like a bad license? Or what if the Sherpa is like not actually from Nepal, but is from some other country and like pretends he's a Sherpa? That like,
seriously, like, what do you think? I mean, is anyone checking these Sherpas? How do you know? I don't know. My Sherpa was 7'2". He spoke with an Australian accent. I'm pretty sure he's legit.
They have Australians that are guides. Sherpas are just there. I mean, there's Sherpas that are guides too. I personally know a Sherpa, and the dude is awesome. He's from Nepal. He's a great dude. Anyway, all right. What's your next one? What you got?
So this is my half one. This one goes out to Enlightened Equipment for the Minnesota people
Okay.
because this is one of my favorite trails. We almost died on it. It's the Pioneer Trail in Wild River State Park, Minnesota. So this is a horse trail. One father said that they barely made it out alive after sunset, and a 3-year-old stated, "You said this would be fun. I only see horse poop." So the backstory is there's a lot of horse poop, and going into this, you got to make sure that you check the sunrise, sunset times. Even though the weather's nice in August or November, it's the sun sets a little earlier that time, and you got to be careful when you bring kids and how fast you make it out alive. So this was one of those trips that got kind of sketchy for me. So just throwing it out there for parents. It's the Pioneer Trail, Wild River State Park. So Wild River, Minnesota is a very beautiful park, 15 minutes from my house growing up. It's along the river, but with kids and all that, we were not making good time, and the sun started to really set. And it was one where I was panicking because we didn't bring any food. We had maybe a bottle of water with us because it's a short trip, but just poor planning. And, I was like, guys, we got to go because we don't have any flashlights or anything. And I don't know this trail as well as I thought I do. So, yeah, it's a fun trail, but yeah.
It's like more of like a dad decision there. That was the issue, right?
No, it's the trail. The trail's pretty.
It's a trail. Trail's scary. My bad.
Yeah, totally trail. Yeah. Come on, Carl, stay with it.
Okay. All right. I don't. So just be a better dad. Sounds like the cheat code for that one.
Yeah.
and understand that in November the sun sets sooner. I think have that knowledge.
That was the one that I think would be good. So.
Okay.
All right, and so my other half one would be Huckleberry Mountain. Have you heard about this one? This one is in Glacier National Park. So this one's for you, Carl.
I've been to Glacier twice. And I don't think I know about Huckleberry Mountain.
Well, this is the one that you probably avoid because you don't like bear canisters, you don't like grizzly bears, and this is it. So Huckleberry Mountain is named because of the thriving grizzly habitat. They come to munch on the calorie-dense fruit, and they actually close the trail because of all the grizzly bears throughout it. Still, it's not uncommon for backpackers to encounter bear on this trail. They must have bear canisters, bear spray, and avoid lingering near food sources for this trail.
Okay. Interesting.
So there you go. Yeah. So that's one that I think we should try.
One of our campsites was, what was it called? 50 Mountain Campsite, which was known to have grizzly bears. And we didn't get them that night. But our last day that we were hiking out on one of the trips, we were at a stream, and the dudes were just like, I don't know, lounging, swimming. I think it was like deep enough to go swimming or something. And I found a patch of huckleberry bushes, and I just started munching on them. And I'm like, and then I thought to myself, I'm munching on huckleberries right next to the stream. So there's water source and there's berries. This is probably like a really bad idea. So and
it literally says avoid lingering near food sources. So don't go near the huckleberry. This one also says that there's one bear for every 3 square miles of the park. So 563 bear totals for this. Just throwing it out there. I've never seen a grizzly bear, but I don't want to carry one.
Also is high density in the park is park rangers. They're everywhere. I've seen them on almost every single day I've been in the park. Like literally, I've seen them everywhere. So
you're saying there's one ranger for every like 0.5 square miles of park in
something. Well, we saw 3 rangers in one day hiking.
Wow.
It was like 8 miles, 3 rangers. So you can do the math on that one. But I don't know what you're talking about with the bears thing. Like, yeah, I don't want to bring the bear canister, but I'm not like afraid of the grizzly bears, man. Bring them on in a safe way.
yes. You got your bear spray. You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Okay, so I got another bear story, but we already did bear episodes, so we'll have to circle back to that later. All right, my last one this is one I've done. This is a really popular one. This is in Yosemite National Park. This is a trail that is very hard to get a permit for now. It used to be easy. Actually, it didn't even require a permit for a while, and that is Half Dome. This is a backpackable like spur off of a trail coming from Yosemite Valley. Just epic dome of granite rock where if you know you're kind of backpacking lore and if you've done your research or if you've done the trail, you know that they have these poles that go perpendicular into the rock, and then they have these wooden planks you can kind of step on. You're not roped in. You can bring ropes and clip in if you want to. When I saw this on the list, I thought the Deadliest issue was that people would get struck by lightning on top. They get stuck on top, but that's not the issue. People fall off this thing. They fall off of the cables that are connected to these perpendicular poles. And the situation is they fall off because the granite, you're like hiking on granite at a 45-degree angle. The granite will get wet with sudden storms. That's the situation.
Wow. And you did this one?
I've done this one 3 times, actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I get why you're bringing it up. Like, hey, there's a Deadliest hike and I've done it 3 times. Just letting you guys know.
Bragging.
This is
bragging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're listening for the podcast for the first time, Carl does this often. Let's pick the 6 deadliest hikes, and I'm going to choose the one that I've done. Well, I did it too. I guess I chose one too. So
yeah. No, yeah. I want everybody to be impressed with me. Like, check this out. I did one of the deadliest hikes 3 times.
No. So how would you defeat the granite? How did you not fall off the granite then? It sounds like it's common. Did you have suction cups?
Yeah, that's right. Do you know the cheat code? Don't go when it's raining. That's it. Just don't go when it's raining. Okay. If rain's in the forecast, if there's a chance of rain, if you see it's clouding over as you get there, stinking don't go. Just skip it. That's it.
So is that what you did? Like, you really checked the forecast and checked it out and made sure it wasn't raining? Oh, you just went.
Sierra weather's relatively stable in summertime. You can get rainstorms, of course, but it's not like the Rockies where you're going to get them every single day. So yeah. I guess I was fortunate. I went there when it wasn't raining, but there was a couple that went up there recently. This is very sad. It was like a father, daughter, like older daughter, I think adult. She was in her 20s and they were descending and it started raining on the descent. And one of them slipped and fell and it did not make it. And yeah, the situation is, it's kind of similar to Mount Everest where you can get so many people on the cables, kind of like log jamming things, that you can be safe when you're in between the poles. But when you go outside of the poles to pass people, if you're not holding onto those cables tight enough, that's where you can slip. And that's where the granite can get very slick. And so, yeah.
Okay. So so be patient. So you just gotta be patient.
I guess so. I think you just gotta, I don't know what you do if it's raining, man. I think you're in a bad spot. I think you got to convince everybody else to go back down too. So
I don't know what I would do. Like, if it starts raining, the advice, check the weather. The same thing on my deadliest hike too. I didn't check the forecast and see what time sunset was. So we both survived deadliest hikes.
Right.
What did you have any near death experiences on that?
No, I've already shared my near death experience in Yosemite. That was Yosemite Falls, but just the stats.
No, this is the Half Dome. I'm not asking about every single thing you had, Carl. I'm just asking about the Half Dome.
Do you want me to talk about other trips? I can talk about other trips too.
No, I don't want you to talk about other trips. I'm asking about the Half Dome. You said, yes, this is the deadliest trail. And I asked you, well, have you gotten, like, did you have anything happen? Well, I'm not going to talk about my past trip. No, I'm not asking about the past trip. I'm asking about the Half Dome.
Okay. Stay on target is what you're saying. The closest thing was my wife. Like, we were engaged at the time. She found out on top of Half Dome that she has a severe fear of heights. And so we got her down safely, but it was an effort. And so she was having a rough time going down, and she didn't know she had a fear of heights until she was on top and she had to descend.
Obviously she's probably had heights, like, been up to high places, right? Before that. But was it just
different, man?
Because it was scary?
I'll be honest. Like, this Half Dome was my first big hike ever before I really got into hiking and backpacking. And so when people were talking about, they're like, oh, you should do a Half Dome hike. This is before you had to have permits for it. I just went, like, I was in high school. I was 18 years old. I went with a bunch of friends, and I was, it's like whatever, 8 miles. It's a day hike, 8 miles to the top, 8 miles back. You can backpack it or do it as a day hike. When I got to the base, I got there and I was like kind of ahead of the group. And so I got there kind of by myself, and I was like, wait, do you have to go up that thing? Like, that doesn't look real. Like, we're really allowed to do that. It looks really sketchy. So I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's my story. Okay.
Yeah, so, it kind of just didn't answer the question, but yeah, it's okay. I was just asking about the fear of heights.
Basically, your question was talk more about Half Dome, so I did, and then now you're not liking it. So.
No, because I was following up. Like, how do you, like, because a Half Dome, your wife realized she was scared of heights, and so I was thinking about that. Like, is there something where I'd be, oh, this is kind of scary. I've been up high, obviously, numerous times hiking, but there it's a different different scenario where it's kind of
It's a
maybe more
different
a little
scary. I think I answered the
fearful.
question.
Yeah.
It's like it's very stark and just different. Yeah. So just don't go when it's raining, or if it looks like it's gonna rain, just don't go. That's my cheat code. So there you
Good
go.
cheat code.
Did we get to all yours?
Yeah, I made it through mine.
Okay. All right, there you go. So now, if you are somebody who likes to challenge themselves with some of the deadliest trails on Earth, we don't know if these are like the actual deadliest. These are just based on kind of our own research. Check out one of those trails and definitely beware the random trail that Ben said that's in Minnesota that gets dark at sunset somehow. So beware that one. That sounds rough.
And watch out for the horse poop.
And watch out for the horse poop. Okay. All right. Before we move on, as promised from last week's episode, I got a review. I don't even know if you can see this. I've got try to fit this in the frame for those that are on YouTube. The Teton backpack review. So they got a couple packs. Just depends upon kind of what you're after. They have like, you can get a pack for under $100. That's kind of their Scout series. They have a variety of capacities, but the one that I just showed you that I had the opportunity to test out was the Signal 65 liter pack. Did you get a chance to check this one out too?
Yeah, I saw it. It looks nice. I like the color black. You showed the brown one, but the black one looked really sleek. I know it doesn't matter. They're both different colors, but the black one just
it does matter.
Like really,
no, colors matter, man.
Yeah, because it's faster. Batman colors.
It's not more faster, but you don't want to have a lame backpack color. Like, do you want to wear a pink backpack? I don't know. Maybe but really,
we'll see. No, I don't. I like green, black, but I like the it had a really good vent the way it sits. But when you wore it, did it sit higher up? The pictures I saw, it seemed like it sat higher up on people's backs, so it kind of was above your head more than the normal backpacks, where the normal ones kind of sit a little bit lower. I don't know if you noticed that when you loaded it up and wore it.
It just depends upon how you, so it's highly adjustable. This is like one of those one size fits all packs, and they make it really easy. Okay. So right there's like a medium line, a large line. So you can kind of adjust it. It's got the Velcro. And so it just depends on how you adjust it and kind of where it sits on your, short answer is no, like it sits normally, but you've got to ride it perfectly on your torso, on your hip, to make it fit perfectly, and so you can kind of adjust it up or down. So it's a highly adjustable pack. So this is like their higher end pack that came out this year. So it's a little bit more. It's $160, which is still like, half the price or way less than half the price of some of the premium packs.
Right.
So you get really good bang for your buck. I would say it's one of the best or the best entry or mid-level backpacks for people that are on a budget, essentially. So
I kind of liked it. Like, for what I saw of it, it would probably be one that I would test out more. Even entry level for me, like I would take it on trips if I didn't have a backpack. It looked nice. Was it comfortable to wear?
Yeah. So it's got a good hip belt that is very adjustable, and it's got just a lot of adjustability, basically. So it's got all the straps you want that you come to expect, whether it's like on the side panels, on the front of the pack, whatever. The load lifter straps. It's got the straps where you can kind of like cinch the bottom part of the pack towards your hips better to kind of like have it ride better. So as long as you're adjusting it correctly, it's going to be comfortable. The hip belt itself, some people like really beefy hip belts that almost like touch where the buckle is. This one's on the other side of things. So if you don't want like a significant hip belt that's wrapping all the way around your hips, like that's a better fit.
You don't want to have a utility belt. Yeah.
Yes. It just depends on what you like. So that's kind of personal preference. So where you're paying for it is it's on the heavier side. So with all the adjustability, with all the straps and the clips and the features it has on there, it comes in at 4.7 pounds, which is just not an ultralight pack. It's a pack. It's like it's a pack that's going to have what you want, but you're not going to be going ultralight, but it's a great pack. Like I said, for entry or mid-level backpacker, budget conscious. So it's going to be a little bit heavier than some of the other, packs that are on the market, not a crazy amount heavier. And if you're looking at going for like a really ultralight pack, you're going to be spending hundreds of dollars more, like significantly more. So
yeah, I do like the entry level, and it also comes with the lifetime guarantee. I saw.
Yeah, lifetime warranty. So there you go. If you have any issues, you can send it on back. And I don't know anybody that's had to do that, to be honest. I think most of them hold up, so I don't know their process for that. But I think they said on their website it was like like 99.6% are going to last forever. And then every once in a while, there's like 0.4%. If you're in that 0.4%, which is obviously highly unlikely, they'll take care of you.
Sweet.
So there you go. All right. So check it out. We'll have a link in the show description. The Teton Signal 65 pack. If you're even more budget conscious than that, check out their Scout series as well. So, all right. I've got deadly trivia coming up for you right after this. The trail is calling your name. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Our good friend Rowan from Summit Strength can get you trail ready. Rowan uses rock solid evidence to design a specialized training program just for you. There are plenty of cookie cutter programs out there that will get you only halfway up the mountain. Make it to your adventure summit with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure. Okay, so for those that are new to the show, we do a trivia challenge, and whoever has the most losses prior to the next trip, which for us is the Trinity Alps trip, we're going to have some sort of punishment. We haven't actually figured that out yet. So if you have any suggestions for trivia punishments for the Trinity Alps trip, please let us know. Have you had any thoughts on that, Ben?
No, all I can think about is, do I need a bear canister? So I keep thinking about that because I keep getting the emails from everybody like, hey, I don't have one. And we got 3. So do I need a bear canister for going there?
So it's hard for me to say because I've been to Trinity Alps before, which is a place in northern California. That's where they shot that Patterson Gimlin film for the Sasquatch area, for the Sasquatch video, the famous one from the 60s. Yeah. So do we need a Sasquatch canister is probably the better question. But I think that, okay, here's my theory. Is that we don't need a bear canister. We don't even need an Ursac. I think that people are saying that you do because there's bears in the area, but they're not. I think they're not aggressive bears like they are in the Sierras. That's my theory.
Okay.
But I think a lot of people are bringing bear canisters, and I'm bringing an Ursac just because I don't want to be arrogant and assume that I know more than the locals.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going for. Is I don't think I need one, but maybe I'll bring one. Or can I just hang my pack? There's trees, right? So I don't know. We'll see. We can talk later. And
we can talk later.
You at home can play along. Yeah. Will Ben bring a bear canister or not?
All right, deadly trivia. So I got 3 questions. You got to get 2 out of 3 correct. All questions are multiple choice.
Ooh, all right. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Number 1. Which of the following is the deadliest mushroom? Is it A, the death cap, B, chicken of the woods, C, chestnut mushroom, D, the green mushroom in Mario games?
Well, the green one gives you a free life, so it's not that one.
Right.
So I feel like you're setting me up. I feel like it would be the death cap, but is that like a fake one? Like, I feel like you threw a fake one.
These are all real mushrooms, except for Mario.
They're all real mushrooms, except the one in Mario is not, but they're all real.
Unless, do you know any mushrooms that give you extra lives?
I wish there. I guess I'll go death cap. I don't know my mushrooms. This could be the first one I ever get wrong.
Cap is correct. Dude.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Ben has never missed a trivia question. Oh. Right when I think I got him, he's never missed one. This is ridiculous. Okay.
I'm sweating from that one. Do you see me sweating? Wow, that was a tricky one. Whew. All right, let's go.
Number 2. Which of the following is the deadliest plant? It's
poison oak.
That's my first answer. Is A, poison oak. Is that your answer? Is that your answer?
Well, it is to me, but no, that's not my answer.
Okay. A, poison oak, B, hemlock, C, Venus flytraps, or D, iocane powder plant?
Oh, and what's the deadliest one?
Yeah.
Well, I want to go Venus because that's the only one that kills things like consistently, like flies.
When you say deadly, we're talking about humans, though. So
humans now. Okay, so I know it's not poison oak, despite what everyone thinks. I get that every year for all season long. I think it's hemlock, or what was the last one? The last one was like iodine or something.
Iocane, not iodine. Iocane powder plant.
Let's go hemlock. That I think it's the last one, but we'll go hemlock.
So you think that there's a possibility it's the iocane powder?
I think so. I think I should have gone that way. But let's
go.
It's an
odorless, tasteless substance that dissolves instantly in water. Have you even heard of this before?
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that cyanide?
It's from the movie Princess Bride. It's a fictional plant. So, All right.
Oh,
Hemlock is correct, dude. You got 2.
Oh my gosh.
Another one right. Yeah. All right.
All right.
You haven't seen Princess Bride? What's your problem?
No, I have. I just don't. I remember that part where they're like sitting across from each other and like trying to outsmart each other, and he built up the thing. But yeah, I didn't think of the plant name.
It's fictional. It's fictional. Okay.
God,
all right.
Just for fun,
number 3.
They're all real, though. They're all real.
Number 3. Which of the following is not one of the most dangerous machines? Okay. So A, forklifts, B, welding equipment, C, the skill catcher game, which is sometimes known as the claw, or D, robots.
What's the not deadliest one?
The least deadly out of all these.
Least deadliest.
Right.
Well, I know from The Office that the forklift is one of the deadliest ones. They have many incidences of that. So, let's just go with the claw. I don't know. The claw machine's probably the least deadliest.
Yeah, it's just a toy. That's correct.
Yeah.
3 for 3, my friend. 3 for 3. Well done.
Wow. We got to come up with a punishment before it gets too long because you're losing and
next time
we got to figure that out. Actually, I think
we haven't got any feedback yet. So throw some feedback and we'll present your ideas, good or bad, on the next time Ben's on the show, which might be next week. I don't know. We're kind of week to week here.
Yeah. Throw it out to our backpacking and blistered Bible group. Maybe they might have some ideas. So we can ask them.
That's a good call. Yeah. Ben's part of the B&B Bible study as well. So, more information on that, you can reach out to me. Only tidbit I've got is we've been mentioning this Patreon trip to the Trinity Alps. We do Patreon trips. We have bonus episodes. We have all of our episodes are ad-free. We have bonus segments. We have all sorts of goodies on Patreon. If you want to join the Patreon family, we would be honored. It's in the show description. That's all I got for me. You got anything else?
I got nothing. I'm excited for the Trinity Alps. I'll figure out the bear canister stuff. It's always fun to co-host with you and catch up, and we'll see what happens in the future with trips. But it's great being here.
All right.
You laugh.
All right, Ben,
it's great to be here. It's a sinister laugh.
Like, we'll see what happens in the future with trips. Like, are you going to invite me on some more trips in the future?
Are you going to invite me on the Deadliest Half Dome trip that I've conquered 3 times, but I put it on the list because it's deadly?
That's right. There's always a 4th time around. All right. Thanks for joining the show, and thanks again to Enlightened Equipment for partnering with us and putting our show on your website. We really appreciate you, and we love your stuff. So that's all I got, and have a great week, and God bless everybody.
See ya.